little dizzy, but I can deal. A little foggy, but not quite real. A little respite from my mind. A little feeling far behind. A little break from what's in.
My name's Stephen, and I'm a qualified accountant, and I'm an experienced financial controller, having worked over 10 years in industry. Well, at the time when it first, my condition first materialised, I'd been at the same organisation for over 10 years, and unfortunately within a matter of a year I'd lost my job, because they couldn't understand and appreciate what I was going through. I think that was the big thing, because a lot of people can sort of appreciate when you've got a broken leg or something like that, but when they're getting a GP sick note stating anxiety, you get funny looks, and people you can tell people by people's body language and facial expressions that they're questioning you. Very frustrated and angry initially, but then the realisation of the financial impacts upon one's family is massive, and that's when you take the next step and you realise the situation you're in. I think initially I could understand it because they couldn't get their head around it, but then when you sort of inform people it could be a long-term condition, and you can't put a time scale on it like recovering from a broken leg. What you want maybe is a little bit more understanding and flexibility, which I know in the average company that there's a cost associated with that, especially when there's an understanding there, and that's when the problems begin to start. Having lost a job, you for the first time in my life, actually, at the time, you go to the job centre and you understand the benefits system in the UK. I mean, I have suffered from a type of post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's not recognised as a disability or as a disorder that justifies any benefits. So you really are isolated on your own, and if you haven't got a support network around you, it can be devastating. And trying to find employment with a negative when you have to bring a negative issue to the table, it can be quite tricky, even when you've got the skills and experience that I've got. But I think from an employer's perspective, one of the biggest things is having the flexibility, and not just understanding it, but then applying the flexibility. So an individual can still do a really good job for their organisation, but not within the normal parameters of maybe he's working full time and not being in the office all day. So all of a sudden home working and part-time roles is that flexibility. But I think for the employer as well, one of the big benefits to an employer of hiring somebody with a mental health condition like my own is that you get that loyalty. You actually get somebody who's not going to be jumping around the job between jobs a lot, and if someone who finds a job where they're happy with, and the employer's being flexible, then there's no need to look for alternative employment. So you get that stability. My own honest answer is to a point I can understand people with mental health conditions. It being a negative when they're going for a job, I can understand that. So we have to find a way to balance that out and focus on the positives that somebody can bring to the table that is actually suffering from a mental health condition. Because at the end of the day, when you're up against another candidate with similar skills and experience, it's going to be those finer details that are going to decide who gets the job. And if we can focus on the positives that people bring to the table, then you can offset that cost a little bit.